Well, it's a story that's worried millions of Indians. It's a story which concerns Indian Navy officers and a sailor who are on death row in Qatar. These officers and the sailor, all distinguished when they were in service with the Indian Navy, since retired, went to Qatar, worked for a leading company which provided maritime services. In this particular case, they were looking at training the Qatar Navy. There are strong allegations of espionage on the basis of which they were arrested last year, kept in solitary confinement, and ultimately, after a legal process which has been more of a mystery than anything else, they've been sentenced to death. Now, there is this active effort by India, the government at the highest levels, to try and ensure that the officers and the sailor are brought back to India safely. In fact, the Foreign Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, met representatives or family members of all eight today. And in a tweet this morning, Dr. Jaishankar said, met this morning with the families of the 8 Indians detained in Qatar, stressed that the government attaches the highest importance to the case, fully share the concerns and pains of the families, underline that the government will continue to make all efforts to secure their release, will coordinate closely with the families in that regard. This has in fact been a case which has been dreadfully unfortunate, and as I mentioned earlier on, the true circumstances of this case are not yet known. What we do know is the following. Approximately 9 to 10 months back, these officers and the sailor who were working for an Omani company which is based in Qatar, and were working towards training the Qatar Navy, were told that they are being charged for espionage. They were told that they had to leave Qatar. They went ahead and packed their bags. They were about to leave when, in fact, they were taken into custody, put into confinement, and we believe that they went through some rather rigorous questioning which took place. We don't know if there's been any torture or anything of that sort, but certainly extensive interrogation has taken place over the last several months. Throughout this period, the families did reach out to the government of India to help. They did reach out to the Indian embassy to help as well. And the Indian embassy did, in fact, reach out to Qatari officials trying to get more information. But the biggest concern over here has been that given the secrecy attached to this particular case, these officers, the 7 officers and the 1 sailor, their cases have not seen a lot of detail being shared. So even now, when they were in fact, despite their appeals, sentenced to death in Qatar, the government of India at a particular stage didn't have all of the case details. Now, whether the government has those case details now or not, we do not know. But I think on the basis of what we've seen and Dr. Jaishankar's very strong sort of comments, or strong as in positive comments after meeting family members, there would be a sense of hope. In fact, there was already a sense of hope. People felt that the charges appeared to be so outlandish that these men would be released and would be home for Diwali. That's not taken place. Now, the company that I was talking about, and the company that they were working for is Dhara Global Technologies and Consultancies firm. It's a private firm that provided training and related services. Now, there are all sorts of theories which have actually done the rounds. They have been charged with espionage. There are some allegations of a link to a foreign country. That, of course, has been strongly denied, and it is very vague, that particular mention. The government of India itself doesn't have any information to confirm the allegations of espionage, number one. Number two, there is a great deal of competition, as I understand it, with Dhara Global Technologies. Some of the ex-Indian Navy officers who they have recruited in the past have set or created a very good impression of themselves. They've been excellent in terms of the services rendered, and therefore there was a sense that many Western competitive or competing firms might actually be in the Qatar market as well, or other markets in the Middle East, looking to provide consultancy services. And there was some sort of plan to ensure that Dhara Global Technologies was thrown off track. Thirdly, there is the entire question on whether Pakistani intelligence is involved in this in any way, shape, or form. And if it is, then that, of course, represents a different type of geostrategic concern. If there was an intelligence sort of effort by the Pakistani ISI or any affiliated organization to set up these men and get them into trouble in Qatar. But one way or the other, India is looking out for them. The Navy chief today also spoke about that. The External Affairs Minister spoke as well. Now, at what level these conversations are taking place, whether the conversations would go up to the level of the Emir of Qatar or not, we do not know. But there is still a sense of hope that these 7 officers and that 1 sailor, retired Indian Navy, would come back home. Vishnu Som for NDTV.